Councillor Tom Davey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's a lot of panic in the Labour ranks at the moment, Mr. Mayor. The death knell of bloated government, of union power, is ringing, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. As it gets louder, Mr. Mayor, they get more and more nervous because they know that their time is truly at an end. What they fail to mention, Mr. Mayor, is what the real £1 billion gamble is. The real £1 billion gamble is doing nothing. The real £1 billion gamble is failing to innovate, failing to act while you have the opportunity to act and plan appropriately, and then expect everything to be okay later down the line. Labour have one thing in mind and one thing only, and it's protecting the pay and perks of the unions and holding the taxpayers ransom. And that is not something this administration will tolerate any longer. Mr. Mayor, I don't judge one by what the Labour group say. I judge it by what the public say. There are hundreds of How many emails?
You'll be voting against
it. 5. Who was elected at the last local elections? The Conservative administration.
Election now!
On our side, Mr. Mayor, vested interests need to learn when it is time to allow progress to take its natural course. The motion from Councillor Moore talks about the lack of transparency, Mr. Mayor. Now, I'm not sure about many of my colleagues in this room or indeed yourself, but every paper in every committee I've seen for the last 2 or 3 years has one barnet literally in every other paragraph. I've lost count of how many motions the Labour group have put on one barnet or things linked to one barnet. So to argue that there has been no discussion, that there has been no transparency on one barnet raises the question as to where exactly the Labour group have been for the last 3 years. Maybe, Mr. Mayor, if they spent more time reading their committee papers and less time worrying about protecting vested interests, they might understand what is actually happening and what is going on. Now, they've also mentioned the idea, Mr. Mayor, in their motion, which I now see in the amendment, they've retracted the statement about savings, so they're happy to accept them in the amendment, but we'll stick with what Councillor Moore has for the moment. Now, there is a net cost. Now, Mr. Mayor, as someone who's worked in business, you will understand that if you are a manufacturing industry, that might be machinery. If you are a service industry, you need to invest in the correct expertise to ensure you have a good plan of where you are going. And the most important step you can make, Mr. Mayor, is to know when you do need consultants. To know that you have an area of knowledge that you need to fill. The worst thing you can do is drive on regardless and not incur these costs, because that is the true road to ruin, Mr. Mayor. Show me an investment that delivers a higher return than the initial sum invested before you've even invested the initial sum. And Mr. Mayor, at the end of the council meeting, I will be there with my checkbook ready to invest, because that is what Labour are asking for. What we are talking about is sound investment. All the Labour group have done over the last 2 to 3 years, and especially tonight, is demonstrate a lack of commercial capability. They've demonstrated a lack of understanding of the future of local government. And most importantly of all, Mr. Mayor, they've demonstrated a lack of one part. I think Councillor Moore should spend more time focusing on the leadership issues within the Labour group and the people behind her than she should. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.